agreed, but it would be under the Australian or British Empire rules, meaning the 6-7 minute rounds. And again, you have to give this man Funk credit for his thinking capabilities. He knows, as former world heavyweight champion, that he has vastly more experience in time wrestling in that kind of competition.
He has wrestled in that country, and he's wrestled under those rules before. But Funk's main claim to fame, I believe, is his ability to think. He is, in my opinion, he is the smartest wrestler in professional wrestling today.
I would perhaps have to agree with that, and coming from Coach John Heath gives it even more credence. Right now, though, we're set to go with this Florida Heavyweight Championship match. It is 6-7 minute rounds, and here's our ring announcer.
This is a Florida heavyweight title match. It will be under Australian rules. There will be a total of 6-7 minute rounds. The winner of the most rounds will be the winner of the match. Introducing first the challenger from Tampa, Florida, weighing 219 pounds, Mike Graham. His opponent from Amarillo, Texas, weighing 235 pounds, the Florida heavyweight champion, Dory Funk Jr.
The introductions have been completed now, and we do have standby matches in the event that either man is injured and cannot continue. We have Charlotte Cook going up against Bobulinski, and also Kelly Kaniski will be in a standby match if needed. A quick hip lock takedown by Dory Funk Jr., the Florida heavyweight champion. And I might point out, too, that Bruce Tharp, our ring announcer, will be, once the match is 4 minutes in duration, he will then begin to announce the times if that becomes necessary.
Dory Funk is starting this match out in his usual manner. You see, Dory's got a fantastic thing going for him. Everybody worries about Dory attacking their legs with that spinning toe hold, which usually means the end of a match. So everybody comes out with all types of defenses in their mind and how they're going to avoid the spinning toe hold being put on them. Dory takes advantage of the situation by making 99% of his attack into the head, thoracic region, and the shoulder region. Notice the side headlock, the front headlock, the side chancery, the front chancery. The fantastic and violent forearms he brings into the head of the men and will take the head off a rhinoceros. Here we have an outside cradle by Dory. He's got Mike in an awful lot of trouble. But again, you see what he's doing here. He's using that top Nelson. Again, he's putting pressure, and the fellow's thinking defense. He has to now think about defense to the top of his body. When he came in, he was thinking about defense to the bottom. Now he's going to an inside cradle. The thing that people may not realize about this that have never been in the ring, you're having an awful hard time breathing in there. Your chest has been constricted into a smaller area, and naturally the hold is covering up the respiratory intake. And again, he's staying right on that upper area of Gordon, and it's so devastating because most wrestlers are thinking how to stop the spinning toe hold. Then Dory goes in and attacks the upper body, and here come those forearms that will take the head off a rhinoceros.
Exactly 3 of those forearms now. A 4th forearm that has Mike Graham rocking on that ring rope. A 5th, and now Dory Funk Jr. beginning to unleash that heavy artillery. Brings him back to the canvas once again. And so Dory Funk Jr. Moving with an intensity with 6-7 minute rounds. I believe he'd like to go 4 straight if he could, but I doubt seriously he's going to be able to do that to Mike Graham.
He's doing an awful lot. I'm doing an awful lot of talking about Dory Funk Jr., but he is in the man that I consider in the top 4 wrestlers in the world today, Mike Graham. I consider both of these wrestlers to be in the top 4 wrestlers. This, again, is my personal opinion. Mike Graham, on any given night, with all due respect to Dusty, could himself be the world's heavyweight champion. He's wrestling the former world heavyweight champion in Dory Funk. We have 2 of the epitome of all wrestling. And here we see the reversal. Mike used that power strength that he's noted all over the world for, and he's got Dory in a bar series. Look at the tremendous power to pick that man up, and Dory must weigh about 230 pounds. Long, rangy bone fellow that he is, and it's not easy to pick that tall man up.
It's a classic confrontation. There's certainly no question about this. And Mike Graham, who has been doing a considerable amount of traveling of late, he's been overseas several times, wrestled throughout the Orient, now traveling around the United States and competing. But, of course, being from Florida, full slam by feet as Dory Funk Jr. backed up. And a full body slam on Funk. Funk charges in its frame, catching it. An arm drag takedown.
Beautiful underarm wing or an arm drag takedown, as you call it, Gordon. That wing, and he put him back in that bar series. And Mike's idea seems to be at this point of the game to make Dory defense that left arm that he's working on. And I'm sure, however,
3 minutes remaining. 3 minutes.
Probably using some of the same psychology that Dory does. Maybe he'll set a defense up on this left arm, and then I can go for that figure four.
Back on their feet once again, and the referee warning Funk. He had a hold of the top of Mike Graham's head. And so Funk, who tried early on to see if he could stun Mike Graham and score a pinfall and get an early start in this match, suddenly finding out that Mike Graham is an extremely resilient competitor. Rolling reverse.
Took him into a saddle cradle, but he sprung out. Tremendous strength. The back is taken tremendous. Underarm wing and back into a bar series. You know, Mike has wrestled Dory just enough times now. You know, Mike, I'm very proud to say that I have a little bit of association with starting Mike in wrestling years ago. But Mike was probably, of the thousands of boys that I've had contact with, the quickest study that I've ever noticed. You can show Mike a thing one time, and he stores it in the file cabinet.
2 minutes remaining.
Dory with a beautiful drop-down toe hold there. And he has come over to the legs here in an effort to make an escape and a reversal. But I'm sure he's going to go back to the leopard body. As I was saying before, Mike is not the average wrestler. Mike has a file cabinet for a memory brain in there, and I'm sure he has wrestled Dory enough times to know just where to go, when to go, and when not to go. There's a tremendous amount of strain with a reverse chin lock, an awful lot of strain in the sternos, but as you were saying, Gordon, he's been working out heavy with the weights, and his neck and shoulders show it.
They certainly do, and of course, as you had mentioned earlier, things like this do have a tendency to hamper that breathing, and the entire cardiovascular system begins to suffer as a result of it. And back in action once again, it's Graham bringing Funk into a full body slam.
1 minute remaining.
Well, Dory went in to try to attack that upper body again. And Mike with his acquired knowledge and strength slammed him off, and of course winged him off.
45 seconds.
Ring savvy, Dory takes over. He knows when to go out of the ring. It's not the most popular thing in the world to do, but this is the thing that retained a world title for him for many years and has kept him on top of the pack.
30 seconds.
Graham, realizing that Funk was obviously stalling, trying to eat up time. He tried earlier for a pinfall submission, could not accomplish it. And now Mike Graham anxious to see if he can't get Funk into a submission.
15 seconds.
Working on that left arm again. He's got that bar.
10 seconds.
Bending a little bit, working the inside, and again crashes down.
5 seconds.
Biceps major with the left arm of Mr. Funk. One thing about Funk, he never underestimates an opponent. And I believe that's time, Gordon.
It was. The first round is over. The first round is over. Neither man able to gain a pinfall or a submission. And we'll be back with the second round for the Florida Championship in just a couple of moments. All right, beginning round two. Remember, this match is for the Florida Heavyweight Championship under Australian or British Empire rules. 6 7-minute rounds. The first 7-minute round ended in a draw. Neither man was able to gain a pinfall or a submission. We are now in the second 7-minute round. I might point out the winner of the most rounds will win the match, and if it is Funk, he will retain his title. If it's Mike Graham, he will become the new Florida Heavyweight Champion. And Graham moving very aggressively. Now goes for the figure four. Broken up by Dory Funk Jr.
One thing that Mike may have to watch out for is that youthful exuberance that he has and that desire to take the match to the champion very quickly. You notice that the champion, who has been there many, many times over the years in many, many countries, he's playing it, as you've said many times, Gordon, he's playing it cool. He's keeping his thoughts calm and collected about him. He's not going to rush this match. He knows he's in with one of the most formidable opponents in the world today. And he has a great love and desire of retaining that Florida title. You know, there's nothing foolish is going to come from Funk. I just hope that Mike as I must admit, I'm very partial towards him, having coached him a little bit.
Now I'm a little upset because Terry Funk has just come to ringside, and we have seen so many times before, John, whenever there was one Funk around, generally the other one is there, and that can spell trouble.
Yes, many, many times. I guess you could count the times on the fingers of one hand when there hasn't been trouble, when they both are this close together in the proximity of the ring. Mike's got Dory in quite a bit of trouble here. That tremendous leg powers, that the legs that have squatted with 650 pounds, exerting all that pressure from the biceps femoris. Supinator rectus muscles, bridged them up, picked them up with a slam. He's going for the figure four.
Again, broken up by Dory Funk Jr. and Funk perhaps just a little bit desperate at this point. I think he had hoped to catch an early fall on Mike Graham in that first round, was unable to do so. And to my way of thinking, John, at this point in time, Mike Graham has been more the aggressor in this round thus far than Dory Funk Jr.
There's a possibility that Mike has found a little dent in the armor of Dory Funk there, and he's wrestled him enough times. He may be feeling that the timing is right now to become very aggressive and take that first fall. Well, he'll only need 3 falls now to win this match.
Outside the ring, and so Mike Graham caught by Terry Funk, and that's exactly what I was worrying about, is that Terry Funk, Sunday by Terry Funk, and Mike Graham has been staggered. And a forearm by Dory Funk Jr. that has Mike Graham in a lot of trouble here. Another stinging forearm. And another one. These percussions to the head, short-circuiting the brain, if you will. And it is creating more and more problems. A deep, deep double underhook.
Mike's in an awful lot of trouble here, but I think it was predetermined and set up an awful lot by the work of Terry Funk, the man on the outside of the ring there. Deep inside cradle.
Has the pinfall. He has the pinfall. Remember, however, this is 6 7-minute rounds. This match, 6 7-minute rounds. And so, one round has been a draw, and now Dory Funk Jr. has taken the second round. Rung, and Dory Funk Jr. very quickly charging out, trying to take full advantage of that Palmer pin, and is continued to a barrage on Mike Graham using those forearms. And Mike Graham in a lot of trouble here, and Graham again hurtled from the ring. This is a Florida Championship match. 6 7-minute rounds. The first round was a draw. Dory Funk Jr. took the second round and is now trying to gain that third round. The vertical souffle, and it is no, sir. Mike Graham came out of it, but it took every bit of second effort and second energy, John, to get away from that pinning combination.
This is a result of years of training, and of course it's an inherited attitude in the Graham family. You just do not give up, period. And tremendous strength, plus that attitude is the only thing to save Mike from a strong top Nelson vertical souffle. He's taking tremendous beating right now. And he came out again with a bridge and a push slide away. Funk knows that this is his big opportunity to take this match right now. He can take the second match, take the second fall, and only had to take one more, and he would retain his title. Again, that bridge. You see that bridge in there, Gordon? And then that push out, that's the thing that brings him out of there. The tremendous development of the sternocleidomastoidus muscle and the supinators. Plus, again, once again, that instinct, Graham desire of not losing. He will not admit defeat. And it's just not going to be easy to beat.
Dory Funk Jr. Wow, and it is Mike Graham retaliating and retaliating again.
Those shots are coming into the cerebrum area, just where Mike wants them to land. And they're taking an effect. He's got to slow Dory down. Snap mare over by Dory. This is with that elbow drop.
And Mike Graham back in there. Short chopping, hard right hand, good flying drop kick. And it is Mike Graham battling his way back. Missed with that drop kick as Dory Funk Jr. stepped to one side. A knee lift that drives Graham back to the canvas again.
Oh boy. Top Nelson has got him set up for a deep inside jackknife cradle. He's got it.
And so, at the end of round 3, 1 round is a draw, and 2 rounds to the current Florida heavyweight champion, Dory Funk Jr. We'll be back with round 4 in a moment. There's the bell beginning round 4. And this is a critical round now, John. Mike Graham has got to hold him off. He has lost 2 straight rounds, and that really puts him in a problem. If Dory Funk Jr. is able to take this round, it's basically all over.
It's completely switched Mike's strategy that probably had going into this match. I'm sure he did not think he was going to find himself down 2-0. Now he's got to be careful not to be pinned, but at the same time, he's got to go for pins. And you know, Gordon, as I've said many times, when you're in the process of trying to make a pin, you are at the most critical point of being pinned yourself. So he has to be ultra careful at the present time. Backdrops he played, it didn't do Mike one bit of good. Mike's in all sort of trouble. Only one more fall here, and Funk will retain his Florida title. It will also be impossible for Mike to gain the title.
And fist flying now between the two of them, and it is Mike Graham catching the edge. That time has Dory Funk Jr. staggered down to one knee. Funk shaking his head. Those cobwebs are on him now, and it's Mike Graham sensing it indeed, using that right hand very, very effectively. Tried to snap mare, and it was Dory Funk Jr. hanging onto those ropes. Caught that time by Funk as he was up against the turnbuckle. And it is Funk again, who has not lost his cool, but is, in my opinion, John, a very, very desperate man. I think he still feels that tremendous strength of Mike Graham.
He certainly does, and Mike's not going to lose that strength, because as long as Mike is breathing and able to think, you are not going to make him quit. You're not going to just beat him like an average, ordinary human being. The thing that's going to remain in my mind and in the minds of hundreds of thousands of fans who are watching is how much effect the fact that Dory Funk inflicted his harm on Mike Graham. And here we have a standing open guillotine. He's got an overwhipped leg, and he's got the top side Nelson applied right here. Tremendous amount of pressure being exerted again on the supinators and the sternomastoid of Mike. Plus, it's awful hard to breathe.
And Mike Graham fighting this, but Dory Funk Jr. can sense that victory now coursing through his veins, and Mike trying desperately to extricate himself if he can. The referee checking again to make sure that Funk is not getting any extra leverage, and it appeared he might have been. But any average wrestler, I'm sure, would have conceded by now.
We are looking at not only one superhuman wrestler, 2 superhuman wrestlers in this match. And Mike being able to do a hip toss with an unbelievable amount of strength he has to possess in his body and take that hold away from Dory Funk. Here he comes in with what I call one of his most excruciating holds. It's a top Nelson, and he joins it into something like a inside cradle. You cannot breathe from this position. Plus, he's pushing him into an inside cradle fall.
And look at the way Mike Graham is battling to keep that shoulder off. A definite predicament here, but he's got that shoulder. It's still off. The referee checking it very carefully. This is a critical fall, a critical situation. And Dory Funk Jr. could not do it. He could not get those shoulders down for the 3.
When you squat with 600, 650 pounds, those biceps are so strong, you just don't close them up like that. Look
3
at this
minutes
one.
remaining, 3 minutes.
He's shifting that weight to the outside and pushing away off the hip. Dory Funk making it almost impossible for him to bring over, and he kicked him over. With a fantastic vertical play himself. And who knows, let's hope that we have a change of tide here. I guess I should be partial, but I'm afraid I'm getting carried away.
It's understandable, John. Wow, Funk comes off the ropes again, and it is Mike Graham explodes with a right hand to the side of the head of Dory Funk Jr. and explodes once again. And Funk misses, and Mike Graham does not. Well, a classic confrontation here.
Mike has found himself in his deepest troubles. He's just resorted back to an old adage that his father, Eddie Graham's, told him many times. There's nothing like a sit-out switch and a hard right to the jaw to even things up.
2 minutes remaining, 2 minutes.
And that's got him in trouble again.
Here's a deep inside jackknife cradle. He's got the pin.
Beautiful, beautiful move by Mike Graham. Mike Graham into an inside cradle on Dory Funk Jr. And it was exactly as John said. Dory Funk Jr. going for the pin. That became the open critical time, and Mike... Into round 5 now. 1 round to draw. Funk has 2 rounds, and Mike Graham has a round. So Mike Graham has evened things up a little bit here as we enter this 5th round. And again, this becomes a crucial round, and it is Dory Funk Jr. very quickly trying for a pinning combination.
Well, we see a strange twist in the strategy of Dory Funk. It's one of the first times I've ever seen him employ what we call, pardon me, a banana split, especially this early in the round. Of course, Dory Funk, to me, and Mike is in he's in bad predicament here. Side Nelson here could clinch it down, okay? He has an over lever on that near arm. He's going back to that side Nelson, and he's got an over whip. I can't see whether he's got a joint on that far leg or not for a grapevine, but he has an over whip on that far leg and the side Nelson there. That upper body lever, such as he has, he could pin Mike, but it can be reversed easily. Again, going for the pin, he's got himself in a little trouble here.
And Mike Graham, utilizing that tremendous upper body strength, is able to escape from it, and the tempers have obviously flared already in this match.
And Funk placed himself into the situation of an Indian deathlock. He could have a submission hold right in the works right here, Gordon. The strain on the ligaments of Mr. Funk right now. It could slow him down, too, as far as maneuverability. Should he get out of it?
And Mike Graham seizing full chance in this opportunity. Hooked that near arm and is across the chin of Dory Funk Jr., trying to get those shoulders down for that 3 count. Very, very important. This would be a very important fall for Mike.
He's going to try and work himself into a guillotine here. He's got the top lever, arm lever up top. He's got a leg over whip far side. And he looks like he could have him, well, he would have him in a pin situation right here.
They were into that rope momentarily, and the referee has now called for the break on that basis that they were in the ropes. And he is warning Funk again about those tactics. And Mike Graham wanting no part of that. There you see Terry Funk outside agitating.
Beautiful underarm supply by Mike. Slammed Dory right to the canvas, and he doesn't want too many of those because of the percussion type of fall that is. It takes the wind out, and he needs every bit of ounce of strength of wind that he can get right now. Both wrestlers do as far as wrestlers. That devastating elbow didn't help Mike win it.
Mike Graham driven to the canvas once again, and again Dory Funk Jr. using that forearm, and he uses it with such devastating accuracy and effect down on the corner. Catches him again, drives Mike Graham to the canvas.
The Now I've often, oh boy, got him in a deep inside jackknife cradle, caught him off guard. And that's going to change Funk's strategy, I would think. I think he's going to have to be a little more alert. Yes, he is. He's going to go into a control situation. He's back into that top Nelson. He brings that near leg up. He puts a side inside cradle on, and again, he's trying to make it hard for Mike to breathe. He wants to get that respiratory system so fouled up, or Mike, or he won't be able to think whether he's coming or going. But that could be a long, long day away.
Well, there's been a proven fact, of course, throughout the colleges, a recent survey showing that wrestlers have one of the highest developed cardiovascular systems in
3 minutes
sport.
remaining.
And we can see here why it is so desperately necessary.
Yes, well, it's, of course, it's a 6 of one and half dozen other. The more they wrestle, the more in condition and perfectly tuned conditioning they achieve themselves. And both of these wrestlers are known for their durability. You're watching, in my opinion again, 2 of the top 4 wrestlers in the entire world. And I give or take that to nobody. Give or take that up to me. You know, we've often talked about wrestling being a game of human chess. You are watching the chess master in the world, in Mr. Dory Funk, again, in my opinion. But he's up against probably the #1 pupil and the man who can possibly learn enough lessons from him to take those lessons and reverse it on Mr. Funk.
From a salto to a step over now into an arm bar, and it is Mike Graham still battling
2
at this
minutes
point
remaining.
from behind. And Dory Funk Jr., though, is a hard-pressed champion right now. He's got a handful of problems here that he's going to need every single break possible.
He's got that quarter Nelson type of lock on the shoulder bladers. Again, he's putting punishment again, Gordon, into the shoulders, into the head, into the neck. And I would not be one bit surprised to see him, like a shark, switch to the other extremity of the body and go for that spinning toe hold. This is where he catches 99% of those wrestlers. Mike's taking an awful lot of strain right now into that left arm. Dory resorting to the illegal tactics, pulling him down by the hair.
And a chant being picked up now by the crowd here at the Sportatorium. Go, Mike, go, go, Mike, go. And they want this young man to win this Florida Heavyweight Championship. No question about that. And that has to make that adrenaline flow just a little bit faster. In
1 minute remaining.
Mike Graham is going to have to dig down deep, and that's exactly what he's been attempting to do, but he's caught twice now with forearms, another forearm that rocks him, and a 4th forearm, and a 5th. And just how much punishment can one body take?
45 seconds.
And still keep coming back. But Mike Graham, there you go. You're right, John. He's going for the lower extremity now, changing his attack, going for the figure 4. It's
Beautiful block and reversal, counters it. He's going into his own figure 4.
from the spinning toe hold. It's Mike Graham in there with that figure 4 leg lock. He's got the Eddie Graham figure 4 leg lock on him. And it is Dory Funk Jr. conceding. Dory Funk Jr. conceding. Dory Funk charging into the ring. But Mike Graham has now taken a second fall over the Florida Heavyweight Champion, and it stands at 2 falls apiece. We'll be back. There you see it again in slow motion, where he comes and breaks up that spinning toe, goes into the figure 4. And we'll be back with round 6 in just a minute. Entering round 6 now, and this is very much a worried champion. He's got a problem with that left leg. He's backing away. He's on that bicycle now as the challenger, Mike Graham, moves against him. And Mike Graham immediately goes for that leg, and it was a back out by Dory Funk Jr., the Florida Heavyweight Champion. Each man stands with 2 falls apiece and 1 draw. This is the critical round. There's no good block by Funk. And
Beautiful overlay block by Funk. And he's holding on in spite of the fact that he's going to put himself in a little bit of a trouble here if Mike slips out from under it. And here comes Mike out from underneath. The next fall will be the champion, whichever man wins. Look at that counter by Funk into that bar from underneath. Worked it off right off a double wrist lock into a bar top. Again, he's using that quarter Nelson partridge, we call it, right up into that shoulder. Listen, the man was not world's champion for 4 years and not be able to handle every situation faced by any wrestler ever in the countenance of that ring. However, this situation that's going on right now I think Dory is finding himself in one of the toughest situations he's ever experienced. He wants that Florida title. He just eats, sleeps, and adores that title. Doesn't want to give it up. And I know how hard Mike has been training to get a shot at it, and he wants it. Here's a double over by Dory Funk. He may go for an over pin. Well, he released it. Still in for control.
Oh, the tremendous heat here, and as I would imagine, exceptionally difficult to keep these holds on with total pressure simply because of the slipperiness of the bodies themselves. And Mike Graham outside the ring, and Terry Funk again creating an outside problem. Count was broken. Now Mike Graham moves back toward the ring, and it is again Dory Funk Jr. using that forearm and then a boot to the side of the rib cage of Mike Graham. And time, of course, wait a second, Terry Funk interfering again from the outside. And this could spell the entire difference of this match. At this point in time, it is Mike Graham in trouble.
Well, it's entering my mind, your mind, and the hundreds of thousands of spectators. Mike should have only been wrestling one opponent in here today, and there's been times he's had to go up against two. How would Mike done against Dory if Terry wasn't here to interfere? Again, he did that bridge out and push away slide. I've seen him do that in amateur matches many times, but Dory's got him tied up in a deep inside jackknife right now. He's got to do a weevil to the inside, bring that arm through the stomach, and work his way to the inside. Try and turn himself to the stomach, and I think he's succeeding in doing it. Getting out of that predicament, he's on his hands and knees.
Back to their feet once again, and the chant continues, "Go, Mike, go." And the challenger now in trouble against a very desperate or almost frantic Florida heavyweight champion. And now, no forearms here, just hard right hands crashing in on the side of the jaw of Mike Graham, and Graham now retaliating. That famous Graham punch.
Both men definitely showing the signs of strain and struggle that's been going on for nearly an hour now. Gordon, I don't know how these two men just can go on.
The champion down to one knee. Mike Graham has him staggered, and the champion trying to get his head clear. Caught again by Mike Graham. And Graham now pounding away on the champion, and the champion's face suddenly becoming a crimson mask. It is Terry Funk. At
3 minutes
ringside, and a
remaining.
worried Terry Funk indeed, as Dory Funk Jr. missed with a haymaker right hand. And it's Mike Graham again using those hard right hands, and Mike Graham going for that figure four. Broken up. Terry Funk caught that time by Mike Graham, and now Dory Funk caught by Mike Graham. Terry Funk is down, and now Mike Graham can concentrate on that Florida heavyweight champion, and the champion swinging wildly now, dropped to the canvas again, and the champion leaves the ring. The champion now in desperate straits. Instinct bringing him back inside the ring now as the challenger. Mike Graham continues to close in, and again it's the champion missing with the right hand, and Mike Graham pounding away at the head of Dory Funk Jr. Mike Graham just a 3 count away from the Florida heavyweight championship.
2 minutes remaining.
And Dory Funk Jr. through those ropes again. Mike Graham now puts the boots to the rib cage of Dory Funk Jr.
Mike is so incensed and enraged right now. Of course, and I can't blame him. Uh-oh, deep double by Funk. I was afraid of something like that. His feet up in the ropes.
Feet on the ropes. The referee caught it. No pinfall there, and Mike right after him. And Mike Graham has been known to put out a few lights in his career, and that's exact. Ooh! Both men.
Both men over the top rope. Could have a severe injury here on either one of them.
Count is on, and Mike Graham's got to make it back inside before the count of 10.
1 minute remaining.
Made it back in. Dory Funk Jr. waiting for it. Mike Graham fired him off, got both men down.
Both these men are only going on animal-like instinct of continuing on in case
45 seconds.
All this adversity. He's got to press here. Again, that heavy bridge and push slide away. Saved Mike. Here comes that inside jackknife cradle. Funk's got him tied up. The Warrior's muscle stretched out. Saved him again. Took him over with a lever. Mike came away again.
And now it is a pair of sixer between these two. A back alley brawl, if you will. A double leg pickup by Mike Graham. He's going for that figure four. He's got the figure four.
10 seconds.
Got the lock. That should be it, Gordon.
That should be it. We could be seeing a new Florida heavyweight champion here as Dory Funk Jr. Hangs on, but Mike Graham keeps that figure four cinched in. Time limit has expired. Time limit has expired. Well, as we broke away, it was a little unclear as to whether or not Mike Graham, whether or not Dory Funk Jr. had conceded to the figure four. As it turned out, however, the time did run out. And let's watch carefully here as we see exactly what did happen. We'll review this entire situation. The takedown, the lateral press. There's that push and slide as you were talking about earlier, John. And then the two of them erupting into a series of hard punches to the head. And, of course, time at this point was continuing to run out. Mike finally uncorked with a right hand that absolutely staggered the champion. A quick double leg pickup and went into the figure four. And at this point, of course, and Mike Graham has joined us now, at this point I'm sure he felt that he had the Florida Heavyweight Championship firmly within his grasp. But as the referee is checking, Dory Funk Jr. withstanding this tremendous pain, not conceding, but the clock is still running, and time does run out. And unfortunately, instead of Mike Graham gaining the Florida Heavyweight Championship, it turns out that Dory Funk Jr. retains it. It ends up as a draw match.